let me give you a detail of the types of businesses. So we want to look at the advantages of sole proprietorship, partnerships, and corporate type of business, as I'm going to be explaining. So we're going to start with the sole proprietorship type of business. So as I explained before, sole proprietorship is always to work with only one. I want us to note the key points here. It is only one individual operating the entire business. So under this, we find that we're only having one individual operating the entire business. Of course, this should come with different advantages and disadvantages, as we are going to look at them below. So we want to look at some of the advantages that come along with one individual operating the entire business. So I want us to look at a few advantages of sole proprietorship. So under this, I want us to see what are some of the benefits that come along with one individual operating the entire business. So in this, we see that it requires very few costs as someone is starting. So it requires less capital to start a business. So you find that just like it is so much seen that when you're only one, you only find that you require very, very, very small capital to start up a small business. As we are going to look at the different examples, as we're going to list them. This is requiring less capital to start up a business. We find that there is less paperwork needed. So in this, we find that there's very less paperwork needed to start up a business. Then in this, we see that it is easier to trace costs since the business is governed by one individual. So you find that it is easier to trace costs since the business is always governed by one individual. See that there is also a more straightforward banking process. So we find that there is a more straightforward banking process. You know, in the business entities, when businesses are operating, we find that the ways in which the capital gain, the profits gained from a business are actually calculated and banked. We find that there are many hands coming in and sorts of money is sort of laundered. So there, when you're operating it alone, you find that there are more straightforward banking processes. There is a very simplified business ownership sort of operation. Very simplified. So it is a very simplified business ownership. You find that you're not going to engage into bureaucracy to own your business, but you're simply you. So after looking at these advantages, I want us to also generate different examples that actually come along with a sole proprietorship type of business. So I want us to look at the uh, different examples of businesses under sole proprietorship. So when you have the different types of businesses under sole proprietorship, we have the retail businesses. So you find that this is a big example under different types of of sole proprietorship, that are the many retail businesses that are always created. We find that they are always created by one individual having less capital, and it is so easy to create them out. Then also look at uh, the many talent generated businesses. So when you have the different talent generated businesses, in these I mean when we talk about, for example, someone can be good at modeling, let's say pots, let's say cups or plates. So he can come up with an idea, gets his or her clay, and then starts up a simple business of making cups and pots and all that. So whenever you look at these simple businesses, bricklaying, you can also put it under here, bricklaying. You know, bricklaying is also a big business, by the way, and it's always started up by simple one individual. So many examples like of the sort are always under sole proprietorship. So whichever business you look at and it's only one individual starting up that entire business under his or her own capital and generating his or her own rules, take it to knowledge that it is always under sole proprietorship. There are very many businesses. I can't list all of them, so I'll take the etc. word. Then I want us to also go to some of the disadvantages under sole proprietorship type of business. So I want us to look at some of the disadvantages of one individual operating the entire business, and these are shortlisted as below. Yes, just as we have been having some of the advantages under which all that come along with the fact that one individual is operating the entire business. And now we want to look at some of the disadvantages that are affecting the fact that one individual is taking up the entire business. So in this, I'm going to look at number one disadvantage is that the taxes are high and affect the entire business. So the number one disadvantage is that taxes are high and they affect the entire business. So you find that the taxes that are going to be charged over the entire business are going to come along with all their disadvantages and costs, and they're going to be affecting simply one person. And then also another disadvantage under sole proprietorship is that the capital is always limited. So you find that there is always limited capital since it is only one individual. For example, if an individual is going to come up and is starting off a retail shop, just as I mentioned in the examples, you're going to be finding that the capital they're going to be starting with is always less. And if they are not helped anywhere, they're going to start a very small business that is going to be generating less profits. So less profits is also another disadvantage. So there are always less profits are generated. So the reason as why there are always less profits generated is that the business is always operated under a very small scale. and that is why we find that less profits are generated. And this is obviously coming from the fact that it is always a limited capital that is incurred into the business. So you see that the advantages are always overlapping over one and the other. So there are also less chances of expansion. Less chances of expansion of the business. So the easier way to understand these disadvantages is that you simply look at the entire business type, just like look at the business structure of sole proprietorship that is always operated by one individual. So you find that the advantages that come along with this sole proprietorship are alongside the fact that the businesses are always small. Then when you go to the disadvantages, you find that the fact that it is only one person operating this, taxes are going to be high and they're going to be affecting one individual. Then when you go to the capital, since it is only one person incurring money, it's not so easy to actually establish this business on a large scale. So capital is always going to be limited. Capital that's going to be incurred into the business. Then the fact that capital is limited and it's less capital incurred into the business, obviously expect to generate very few or less profits from the business. So that's also another disadvantage. So the fact that there is always less profits again from the business, you find that you're going to be incurring in less to rerun the business, to keep it running, and you find that there are very, very limited chances of expansion of the entire business. So these are some of the four main disadvantages that come along with sole proprietorship. Thank you.